Hello, everyone. This is Angela Brown, Project Lead with the YCC program here at DOL. We're going to go ahead and get started today. It's about 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have a full schedule of exciting information to share with you, so we want to get started on time. So we're going to start with Maisha Meminger, who's going to be the moderator for today.
Thank you so much, Angela. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to have you here with our part 2 of getting started with social media. This is a wonderful opportunity for us again to review what we learned last month and to look forward on how to improve our social media platforms for our YCC grants and our schools and our students. I learned so much last month, and I hope you guys learned a lot as well and are ready to learn some more. Again, this is Maisha Meminger. You guys all know me. I look so forward to seeing you guys this summer, many of you guys this summer at our national conference. And this month, as we go into our second part of the social media piece, we're looking at your plan for social media. Last month, we talked about that a little bit. What does that look like? Who do you want to use? How much money you should be using, or what you're thinking about your money? How can you move things around for that? So we'll talk a little bit more in depth about social media plan. Also looking about engagement pitfalls and troubleshooting. Where do we not want to go if sometimes when we do our social media plan, or we're to engage people, or we're engaging the right persons when we go forth with Facebook versus Twitter, and those things of that nature, and how do we keep that information and that data going? And also management deck setup. And I don't know much about this, so Elizabeth's going to teach me about this, so I'm excited to learn about the management deck setup. So Elizabeth, I'm passing it off to you. It's so great to have you here with us again this month for part 2. It's good to hear a familiar voice when we go into the second part of our training. So I look forward to learning a lot more from you. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. I hope everybody's having a nice week. As you heard, we do have a lot to get through, so I want to get started right away. However, I'm going to put this out there right now so nobody freaks out when we get to the actual management deck part of it. My offer to all of you is if you need help setting up your management deck, I can help you do that. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed once I show you what it looks like, because sometimes if you have no experience with it, it can make your eyes go cross. So no worries, I'm here to help you with anything that has to do with your management deck once we're finished with our webinar. So without further ado, I just want to talk about 2 things really quick to level set social media. And I find these really helpful to remind myself when I get really bogged down with creating the strategy and spending all this time. So number 1, the goal is to engage with your network on social media, not with the entire social media network. So it's a really important distinction. You want to be talking to the people that you talk to in real life on social media. And from that, you will reach out to new people with like interests and who would be interested in what you have to say. But it's not about going out to the social media network and trying to talk to the billion people that are out there. No, focus on your network on social media. So you want to find all those people that are on social media that you know in the real space. And number 2, this is important too. You will spend more time on account management than content creation. A lot of times we feel like the content creation is important. Not going to say it's not important, but it's really more important or equally as important to spend time on building your network and making sure you are talking to and connecting with the right people. So those are my first 2 things, so keep those in the back of your mind. Now, here's some rules of engagement, just to remind you. We did talk a little bit about it in our first session, but this is just kind of, to keep in the back of your mind as well. So if you want people to pay attention to you, you must pay attention to them first. I always say social media is the largest vanity project out there, right? So we feel good when people pay attention to us. So much about our engaging on social media is not necessarily talking about us or our stuff. It's about engaging with other people that we want to engage with us. So that's just something really important to remember, that you want to talk, you want to share, you want to retweet other people's information as it pertains to what you're communicating. So you want to stick with the whole idea of relevancy. And then you want to make sure that you're not just broadcasting or blasting stuff out there. You want it to feel reciprocal, and you want it to feel as if there actually is a real person behind all this, because there really is, and that's important when it comes to social media. That authenticity piece is really crucial. And then when we talk about the types of content or the types of ways you engage, you want to have your interactions be a combination of original content, curated content, and responsive content. And what that means is original is the stuff you create, so information about, a program, a project, about the people involved with your initiatives. Curated is things that you maybe are sharing from other people, things that expand the knowledge about what you're doing, other thought leaders that have stuff to talk about that relates to what your interests are and your initiatives are. And then responsive content is responding to people. It's just simply retweeting, thank you, trying to engage people in conversation, inviting them, and just overall paying attention. Now, one of the questions we talked about, or one of the points we talked about in our first session, were hashtags. You want to use hashtags in everything, and there really is no instance where you wouldn't use a hashtag. So you always want to use a hashtag. So whenever you're doing any of these three types of interactions, you want to pepper them with hashtags. 1 or 2 is sufficient for Twitter and Facebook. You want to use up to 11 on Instagram, because Instagram is really Twitter and Instagram both are very hashtag heavy, but Instagram even more so because of the nature of the way the communication happens within the channel. But the point is that you always want to incorporate hashtags. You can incorporate your original hashtag. You can piggyback on other hashtags that you feel are relevant to your initiatives and what you're trying to communicate. And then you can sometimes just put in some fun hashtags that show some personality and further expand the audience. And I will, again with this session, I will put together a tip sheet. And I think in my first tip sheet I did talk about places to find hashtags, but I'll spell out hashtags a little bit more and go into a little bit more about original, curated, and responsive content. And then the last thing, and this goes back to engaging with your network on social media, you want to follow your in-person network online and then build it from there. So sometimes it is just a matter of sitting down with pen and paper or lists and going through Twitter and going through Instagram and going through Facebook and looking up all those people you need to be connecting with and connect with them. There's really no easy way around it. There's not like something magical that happens that's different than looking up somebody on Google to find them on social media. Once you start adding all of your network onto your social media and you're following all the people you need to follow and you're following back relevant people that are following you, you can start expanding your network from there. Twitter does a really good job of making suggestions of other people you should follow. And so does LinkedIn and Instagram as well. Other people that are connected to you in some way, that are following a certain conversation, that are maybe a part of the same grant project but a different organization. So once you start with building your in-person network, then you can expand your network from there. So with all that said, let's actually talk about what strategy looks like. So I like to break down social media strategy into 3 different pieces when you have to sit down and actually create this strategy. Number 1 are roles and frequency. Number 2 are the metrics. So what are you measuring, right? Because what's the point of a strategy if you're not going to measure it to see what the effectiveness of it? Otherwise, you could just tweet and post however you want, whenever you want, about whatever you want. And then the third piece is evaluating the management decks, deciding what tools you need to use, and then deciding how you want to kind of put it all together. And then, of course, frequency within all of this as well. So first things first, role clarity, right? So this is really important. Since we know that social media is a daily thing, well, I mean, hopefully daily, consistent at least, right? At the very least consistent, somebody's checking it on a regular basis. You need to know who's doing what, right? So if you're the person handling the social media, do you have a backup person? Are you splitting the tasks with any of your students or any of the parents or anybody participating? Is there one person driving the whole network and other people contributing content? So you need to be very clear about who is doing what, and then train them on what they're doing, and making sure everybody's on the same page. So you're approaching this in the most efficient, resource-friendly way possible. So that's really, really important. And sometimes, again, it goes back to writing it out. You might need to just take a piece of paper, write social media strategy at the top, and then just fill in these buttons. Who's doing what? Assigning the roles. And then the next thing you want to talk about is you want to talk about the engagement frequency. So that also needs to be present on your social media strategy. So anybody who is taking over your account knows how many times they need to be tweeting, posting, uploading photos, engaging. So here again, at a glance, are best practices for frequency. You look at Twitter 4 to 10 times a day, Facebook 1 to 4 times a day, Instagram 1 to 2 times a day, and then LinkedIn 3 to 4 times a week. Now, of course, you can do more than this, but these are really minimums for what you want to do and best practices. Anything less than this, it's going to be very difficult to get engagement. It's going to be very difficult to start to generate the conversation that you're looking to generate. So that's what we have to say about frequency. And then metrics, right? So what are we trying to measure here? Are we trying to generate revenue? And by revenue, I don't necessarily mean dollar amount per se. It can be attendance for an event. So you can generate revenue in the sense of how many butts and seats that you need to have at a particular event. You might want to measure how your network is growing, and that could be a really good indication of being in front of the right audience and talking to the right people. And then you want to maybe measure your meaningful interactions, right? So that means, are you tracking hashtags? Are people using your hashtags? Are you getting a lot of retweets? Are you getting interest in your program? Are you getting any type of conversation? So these are all really, really important things that you want to pay attention to. There are all kinds of metrics with social media, and this is the tricky part of it. You could measure anything you wanted to measure with social media. I mean, the metrics are extensive, but you can't do that because it means nothing at that point. So you want to pull out the pieces that you think are the most important. For some people, network growth is actually not the most important. They're actually looking for meaningful interaction because a small network but an active network is still just as powerful as a giant network, right? So some people may be looking at really getting people to attend something or getting people to participate in something, right? So maybe their big metric is just trying to generate interest around an event or a particular initiative. So these are all the kind of things you want to think about. And of course, you may have a metric I didn't mention here, and that's totally fine. I can guarantee you can track it on social media. And if you have a question about how you would do that, shoot me an email, and I'm happy to walk you through specific instances or a specific type of application or item you need to track, because sometimes, you know, everybody has different things. Now, with that said, you want to wrap it all up and really formalize what your policy is. So basically, you're taking that sheet of paper and you're going to address some of these issues on it. You're going to talk about your backup. You're going to talk about your frequency. You want to have a policy for addressing negative comments. And by negative comments and cyberbullying, we're talking specifically about the initiative. When it comes to the cyberbullying piece and the negative comment piece, when it comes to students, that's a whole different issue, and that's something that you need to bring administrators involved with. But that's not the cyberbullying we're talking about. We're talking mostly about negative comments or people that are posting on your page that shouldn't be. So when we do talk about the negativity that can happen, the rule of thumb for addressing all negativity on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn is if it's a comment or a review, you want to address it, thank the person for reaching out, letting them know that you've heard what they had to say, and you will make sure that you take it to the appropriate people to fix the situation, and you always try to move the conversation offline. So one client I worked with, I got a phone call. They had somebody leave a negative review on their Facebook page. Well, the problem with reviews on Facebook is you cannot delete them. Nor do I suggest deleting anything anyway, because that looks bad too. But all they could do was address the negative review and basically say, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. We're so disappointed to hear that this has happened. We are going to talk with the employee and make sure we fix this situation, because this is not how we operate. And if you'd like to talk to us further, please reach out, or let us know if we can reach out to you to talk to you further, right? That's the best you can do, and that is absolutely the most 100% accurate response. If it keeps going and you can tell somebody is just being nasty for nastiness sake or for whatever reason, you can block them from your social media networks. And that would be your next step, is to block people. And it's totally fine to do that, and sometimes you have to. In fact, the accounts that I manage, I do block people from Twitter especially, because I get sometimes inappropriate things showing up in my feed, and I want Twitter to know that this is an inappropriate poster. So you can do that as well. The other thing that you need to, that's important to list out, are your content sources. So whoever is taking over your social media or helping you manage, they need to know where they can pull stuff from, right? So what are the information sources? Are you following a particular blog somewhere? Is there an Eventbrite page that is the link for all the events coming up? Do you guys have other organizations you share information with? So you want to make sure that you are listing out all the content sources. And then also, in terms of content, if there are like tertiary thought leaders or outside news sources that you guys like to comment that support your initiatives, you want to list those as well for people to pull information from. And then the next thing is approvals. Of course, everything you do, you need to make sure that you have the appropriate approval from whom that you need the approval from. So basically, whenever you set up this policy, whether if it's the grant, if it's written into the grant, if it is the school or the organization, you need to make sure that what you're doing is cool, and if they need to approve stuff, let them approve it. You want to make sure everything is on the up and up. And then the last thing is budget, and that is also a point of approval, right? Because we talked about that in our first webinar, where so you have to request the budget and get that approved. And then also, who's tracking it? Who gets the say-so in how it's being spent, and who determines that? I mean, you want to make sure that you have proper controls on everything you're doing, especially if you are allowing other people to manage different pieces of your social media strategy. Now, let's dig into the actual management part and how you break up your time. So, with Facebook, if you are only doing Facebook, you do not need to employ a management deck. Facebook is really, really good about keeping everything very easy to do within Facebook. So I repeat, if you are using just Facebook, no management deck. You can do it within the confines of Facebook. So I'm going to show you a few different things. So number one, here's a Facebook page, right? If you wanted to write out all your content for the whole week or the whole month or the whole 6 months, you can post it like you would. You can upload a photo, and then if you see the little arrow pointing to the clock, you can schedule your posts, I believe, up to 6 months in advance. So you could go and you could sit down and you could load everything up, schedule it by date and time, and then it will just automatically post it when that date and time come up. And then all you have to do is just look at the page every now and again and respond, or share something, or comment. So the posting piece of it is all done for you. And sometimes that can be very time-consuming, especially if you've got, let's say you're going to post once a day, so you've got 30 posts. Maybe it's easier for you just to sit down and bang them all out and schedule them all. So always look for that little timing function. The other thing is, once you post this, you can go back and change the time. So you would just go into the account settings, and there would be a list of everything that you have scheduled, and you can easily change it, edit it, add stuff to it, however you want to adjust it. So Facebook makes it really, really easy for you. Now, one of the big questions when we talk about metrics and analytics are, how do you know the best time to post, right? Well, if you don't know, and let's say you're just starting taking over this page and you're not quite sure, you want to pop over to the Insight tools on Facebook. And look, it's going to tell you historically what time people are most on your site and what time things are happening on Facebook in relation to your activity. So you can see 3 o'clock is really a dip for us. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's 3 a.m. is really a dip. But look, we really peak in the afternoon, and then we peak again at 9 o'clock. So you can pay attention to how your interaction is ebbing and flowing. And it's going to be different for all of you probably, because depending on the organizations I do this for, it is different depending on the people that are part of the organization. If it's more of a business organization, it's a different timing. If it's more of a mom organization, a lot of times it's really early in the morning and really late at night. And then sometimes with other organizations, it's just steady throughout the day. So this will give you an at a glance to take a look at the best times to post. The other thing Facebook does, and again, this is found up at the top here where you've got these pages, messages, notifications, insight, and publishing tools. The next one is if you want to see how your posts are performing. You can do insights at a glance, and it will go back as far as you want to go back, and it will sort it by dates as well. So if you have a ton of content and you just want to see what happened on a certain day, you can look under the Insight tab. And this will show you your reach, your engagement, if you did any targeting, if you want to go back and boost the post. This will tell you what content is performing really, really well. So that will also help you craft your communication strategy, because you know certain things do better than other things. And then sometimes you may think something would do really well, and it doesn't. And something that doesn't do really well does do really well. So it gives you a greater sense of what your audience is looking to see. So that is Facebook in a nutshell. And again, you'll have all these slides too, so you can take a look back. And of course, I'm always here to answer any questions for you about your metrics. Now, deep breaths, everybody. We're going to jump into Hootsuite. So Hootsuite makes sense if you are managing a Twitter account only, right? So number one, if you're managing Twitter, you want to use Hootsuite because it's the best way to make sense of Twitter. You want to also use Hootsuite if you are managing Twitter and Facebook. You want to use Hootsuite if you're managing Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, or any combination of those two. So think, if you use Twitter, you're using Hootsuite, And if you're using more than one network, you can dump it all into Hootsuite and manage it from there. So I hope that wasn't confusing. The point is, Twitter plus anything else, use Hootsuite. Now, there are parity products, meaning there's other decks to use. TweetDeck is one, Sprout Social is the other. There's a couple other decks that do various things. I like Hootsuite because it has the best free account for you, the best free access, and to me it is the most extensive in terms of the functionality. So, couple ways to look at Hootsuite, couple ways to set things up. So here we go. First thing, if you look, this is an example of a deck. If you look at the top, you're going to see there's all kinds of names. There is the Kendra Lee KLA Twitter, there's Rev It Up Sales, there's KLA Lists 2, Lists 3, Shortel Partners, DMC Group, Greg List 1, and then you'll see my Instagram is here. So the thing with Hootsuite, you can add all these accounts. These are all separate, different accounts and lists that I am managing, and this allows me to make sense very quickly and at a glance see what's happening. Now, you can set up these decks. There's 3 rows you can see right now. If you were to scroll at the bottom, it would show more rows. Or more columns, rather, rows. And you would see things like my tweets retweeted, new friends, people who have liked me, and you'll see all of that. And what it does, it gives you an at-a-glance look at all of the activity on your Twitter versus going to twitter.com and just trying to make sense of the feed, because it's very difficult, and a lot of times in your home feed, you're not even getting the information you want. So this is how Hootsuite looks, and again, if this stresses you out, let me help you set it up, because once you dig into it, it makes perfect sense. It's just a lot to see right now. So as you see, you can add lists and groups and all kinds of data to the top. Now, we have that set up. Let's say we want to start following different lists or different hashtags. So anytime somebody becomes a friend of ours or joins our network, we want to put them in a bucket. So let's say we want to put all of our corporate partners in a bucket. Let's say we want to put all of our parents in a bucket. Let's say we want to put all of our students in a bucket. You can start assigning people to lists. And the next slide I'm going to show you is a look at what the lists look like. So here we go. These are hashtag lists. So basically, if you notice, these are all the hashtags I'm following. Invest in women, small to mid-sized business, there's a Chicago one there. The middle one is Chicago and Chicago professionals. The next one is business life, business growth. So these are all hashtags I have determined are really important to growing my network and really important to communicating my message. So I can see at a glance who else is talking about these hashtags, and I can respond and I can engage with directly from Hootsuite. So again, you would just scroll at the bottom, there's like a scroll bar, and you would scroll and you can just keep adding lists and keep putting people into buckets so you can follow them very easily and at a glance. So that is the crux, or that is the moral of the story with Hootsuite, that it gives you a very quick at a glance way to follow people and to manage your account. So that's all I have to say right now about managing your decks. I'm sure we could do a whole session on Hootsuite alone, and again, if you want to explore Hootsuite, let me help you, and we can do like a half-hour call, and I can bang out and set up your account for you and show you the ins and outs. But if you're already doing Hootsuite, I think that's awesome, good for you. The good thing about all these social media management tools is that they try to make it as easy as possible for you. So that is all I have to say about building your strategy. You know, I would love to pass this over now to our next speaker, and he can talk about the ways that they're actually operating their strategy as well. And of course, you know, if you have any questions, please send them along, because I'd love to, you know, I'd love to answer those for you as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to encourage everybody just to put your questions into the question box. And now we have Clave Sloan with us from Kentucky. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that. I learned a lot again.
Thank
It
you.
just lets me know I'm really old and that I need to get more, you know, I think my Facebook page is the coolest thing ever, but I need some more social media savviness. Clave, are you with us? Hello, Clave? Okay, maybe Clave is on mute. I'm not sure. I know we just had Clave, right, Angela?
Yeah, you know what? If anybody wants to type in a question while we're waiting,
Yes,
I'm
we can wait.
happy. Yeah, I'm happy to do my best to answer anything for you.
Yes, please. Well, Elizabeth, I could tell you I learned a lot about Hootsuite. Knew nothing about it before, so thank you for that.
Good, good. And you know, Hootsuite is one of those tools, again, that I've been using it for a long, long time. And so to me, it looks very easy.
Okay, you hear me now?
Oh, okay, there's Clave. Hi, Clave.
Oh, hey, okay, I don't know what was going on.
Hey, Clave. Well, Elizabeth was talking about Hootsuite real quick, so give us a second, Clave. You stay on. Don't go nowhere, okay, Clave?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that Hootsuite looks really intimidating, but really once you dig in and you set it up the way you need to, it will cut your social media time almost in half. It has really, really beautiful efficiency in it, and so I encourage you to participate. There is one question that came in. So from Diana, she said, so the whole point in using hashtags is to know who else is using the hashtag so you can follow each other. Yes, yes and no. So yes and rather, I should say. So the whole point of using hashtags is so when you use those hashtags, other people that are like-minded using those hashtags too can engage with you as well, and you may gain followers. So the point is to yes, you build followers and you build engagement and you're able to connect with other people. The other reason why you use hashtags is to really promote something that is specific to your organization and to allow somebody who is following a conversation through a hashtag to follow your hashtag. And I think Clave is going to show a really, really good example of how they use a hashtag to manage multiple conversations and how they use that as their way to collect and define their conversation.
That's your cue, Clave. You can get started.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get started with by looking at my website. I think they're going to go from the PowerPoint to our actual website that we have. And, you know, our website, when we first started working on the YCC grant, we wanted to have a way to show transparency for a lot of materials we will be using for the grant, but also a way to promote sustainability for a grant too. And the idea of doing a website came more apparent for us. And, you know, we tried to figure out also a way to be engaged with our network of clients, I guess. A lot of things that Elizabeth said when she talked about your network was something that we actually thought about, and we wanted to show some type of engagement not only with the teachers, but also with the students involved with the grant. So as you look at our page here, if we go down just a little ways, you'll see that we have a feed for Twitter, but the feed is actually off of the hashtag YCC10. And we were trying to figure out at the time what would be the best social media outlet to use for students. We were going to go with Facebook at one time, but then we had heard that probably Facebook was not the most coolest thing out there at the time, that Twitter and Instagram were the top two things that kids were using more these days, and there's some other social medias that are used as well. But as you can see through our hashtag YCC10 feed over here, like this is actually today some things that have been going on. We've had some mock interviews going on with some students at one of the high schools, working with some engineers, but we get a live feed what's going on with the students and the career counselors. And this is usually, there's something new on here at least every other day, if not every day. We have new pictures coming up here, and a lot of times it's from the students themselves, just to give us an idea of what type of activities, soft skills, employee engagement is going on out there in our YCC high schools. This also, like Elizabeth was saying, it gives us a chance to build a network, because we have found out that our employers that we work with as well, they will a lot of times do the hashtag YCC10 too, to get an idea of what we're doing here too. And I also have to say, Elizabeth was talking about Hootsuite. That's something that we have actually looked at since last week, and it's a very good tool to use. But the thing that Elizabeth was talking about was you can actually use Hootsuite to build up other hashtags to follow, other components that you can follow. Because what I've learned is that in our YCC high schools, students, they follow the hashtag YCC10, but they also will post information to other services that's going on around the school, such things like Project Lead the Way, or things that they're working with their communities, that ties right back into what we're doing for YCC. So I know that will be another way for us to actually build our network even more than what way we have it right now. And I'm just going to go over a few things on our website to kind of give you an idea of some of the neat things that we have put on here that's been very beneficial for us. The next thing I'll show you is there's a link on here called the Career Infographics, and right beside it, there's also a link that says ACTE. These are both links to infographics, but if you click on the Career Infographics icon there, these are infographics that we have created. Some of our consultants started creating these a couple of quarters ago, and the students really like these, the career counselors really like these, and these are just facts of information that we actually print out on a stock card, but other schools in our area can also print these out and use them as well. So we wanted to share these, but we also share these on Pinterest. We have a Pinterest board that we started out, and it's actually through my handle actually. But a lot of people that I don't know will actually start following that board as well. But this is another way to kind of grow our brand as far as getting more information out there about soft skills to high schools. If you go up to the top, Angela, just kind of hover over YCC students. These are all different avenues that we kind of encourage our students to come to. They had an opportunity to, and you don't have to click on these, so I'm just going to go briefly over them just for a second. Students, we put kind of scholarship information on this website for the students. There's a hashtag YCC10. We have a link on here for videos that focus on soft skills. We have an outlet for student voice on here, and we also have an outlet for the Kentucky IOP login page for the students, and also for Morehead State University. One of the things that we really enjoyed, if you'll click on the YCC students at the very top there, right there. And this is what we call the YCC 10. These are our 10 high schools that we have in our program. And every month we ask our schools to send us a student of the month. And a good one that I'll kind of show to you, if you'll click on the, it's a Southwestern Warrior at the bottom in the middle there, Angela. Yes, and kind of scroll down just a little bit. Some of these pages will have a video that the students have done about their YCC program in their high school. If you keep on scrolling down just a little bit more, what we have here is we have our students of the month. But if you go back up, Angela, I'm going to show one other thing and just kind of freeze it right there. And in this case here, this career counselor has kind of went beyond what's kind of required for them to do, other than giving us a student of the month. If you kind of scroll down inside of the box there, you'll see that this career counselor has actually given YCC highlights of their YCC program just for their high school. So we get more information by embedding other avenues of social media into our website as well. But if you keep scrolling down, you'll see that for this one particular high school, they talked about the career fair that they just had, and then they also have more information about their student of the month. So some of our schools do this. They put important dates on there as well, but this is another way that what they do is they send out an email to all the parents in their YCC program, that's the students of the parents, and so the parents get a copy of this, which brings a link back to our YCC website. So I kind of wanted to kind of point that out, because this is kind of a good job that one of our career counselors does for their YCC program. If you go back up to go to the main bottom, actually, Angela, and or go back home, that's fine. The other thing I want to kind of point out, if we scroll halfway down, we have a site on here also for our partnerships. And if you'll click on the partnership over right there, we've got, now within our program, every high school has a specific partnership or employer that they work with. But beyond that, we also have employers that kind of support all 10 of our high schools. And anytime that we have an employer or a partnership develops with an organization, we kind of like to give kudos to them, and we kind of put them on this page as far as giving them a thank you and a shout out to say that we want to share your information about your program and your organization that's helping out our YCC program as well. So I've learned that by doing this and by telling them that we've done this, they really appreciate that, and then sometimes they'll tweet something out about that as well, and make it be known with their community members as well. So other than that, that's kind of in a nutshell, just a few of the highlights of our website. There's a lot of more topics and information on here. You can feel free to come explore this as you want. And if you have any questions about our website and the different things that we do on here, feel free to contact me. I know there's one other thing I think Angela wanted to show is that we also make good use of analytics for our website. And this is just a copy of something I can come to through our administrative site on the website to get an idea of how many views that this website gets per day, actually. And so, as you can tell on this chart here, we have different spikes throughout the course of the week. And of course, you can tell when the weekends kind of hit, but there's moments when it really spikes very high. And usually that's what I've noticed is that when I do a presentation or if I go to talk with some groups of people about our YCC program, I will notice that day or the day after that there's been a very high spike in our website. Or if other schools want to know more information about YCC, I'll notice a spike in that as well. So this kind of gives me a good idea as far as, are there people looking at our website? If so, how many? And this is just an example of what's happened over the last 2 months. So again, if you have any information, you can feel free to contact me, and I'll be more than welcome to help out any way I can.
Hi, this is Elizabeth again. Can I just mention something about what Clabe said in the website traffic? So one of the things, when we do social media, right, if you do have a website that you want to direct people to, you certainly want to include that link in some of your social commenting. But it's going to be difficult unless you assign a track link to the link that you're using to track to see if they actually click and get to your website. So one of the things that is helpful is if you look at your social media activity and you compare it to your website traffic on any given day, and you see a spike in your web traffic, that's a good indication that your social media is actually leading people back to your website to learn more information. So if that is another one of your metrics, which is web traffic, you'll be able to, there's different ways that you can track it, but just at a glance, if you tweet something or post something and it has a link to your website and you look on your web traffic and you see a spike, that's a good indication that that conversion did happen, that people did follow through.
Okay.
That is very true, Elizabeth, because I know sometimes if I tweet something out about a student that's on a link back to our website, that does happen actually, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Do we have any questions out there. Thank you so much, Clay, for your time and sharing with your website. It looks very, very engaging, very, very exciting to see the website. I guess I don't get the opportunity to see what you guys are doing a lot of times your websites, but I look forward to seeing that you guys are being creative and sharing things on Twitter and using those handles and using youth. And that's important for us, that you're using the young people to actually upload stuff, which is very engaging for them as well, and keeps their parents excited that their kids are up on these websites and can show it off to their friends and maybe their employers, and the good word spreads. So that's always a good thing. Any questions? Do we have any questions? Or Elizabeth, Clay, any more points that you want to bring up?
You know what? When we talk about how much time you carve out for social media on any given day, right, or like per week, per month, you want to carve out, if you're just managing one network, you want to carve out, if you can, like about 15 minutes a day. So let's say that you are doing just Facebook alone. You want to carve out 15 minutes a day. So, 15 or 20 minutes times 5 is almost an hour and a half a week. And then you can do a lot of your planning in advance, where you do a lot of your scheduling. So it really only takes you minutes a day to check for your engagement.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Elizabeth. As a matter of fact, that's about what I spend on average per day, or every other day at least, as far as going to the website and trying to manage the Twitter feed on hashtag YCC10 on our website, or just uploading new information in general. And the front side, like to get the website up and going and everything, was a lot more time invested in the front end. But after I had everything uploaded and everything had the right formats and the platform to go off of, it's very easy to maintain now and to keep it up and going. And what I found too is for me, I actually have more fun looking at our websites, because I get a sneak peek or a look into what the kids are doing on a daily basis. And to me, that tells me that we are on top of things and we're doing our job the right way, and I see the engagement going on too. So I very well enjoy what we do with that.
Clay, I have a question for you. So your hashtag is prevalent, which is great, and people are using it. How are you sharing your hashtag? Because that's something really important to consider as well. Like if you were, like, let's say, an instance where you wanted to create your own hashtag for your program, you could include it on all of your flyers. You could include it in all of your social commenting. I mean, you could make sure that everybody knows to include that hashtag. What do you do, Clay, to make sure people know to include it?
Yeah, so just by, like you said, by social media is one way, but our flyers that our high schools give out, they'll put the hashtag YCC10 on there. The banners that we have hanging up in the buildings, every high school has a banner, and it has a reference to the hashtag YCC10 as well. I know that's probably the one way we get that information out there, but I think the best way that I have found is just word of mouth, or in this case, word of social media. Sometimes if I'll see one kid tweet out a picture about some type of activity they're in their classroom, I'll notice that other kids around them will tweet out the same picture, but they'll have their best friend in it with them as well. So it's kind of like it catches on with the students, because they'll be asking each other, what's the hashtag for that? And just over time, it's picked up as well, as far as the teachers allowing the students to do this and to be involved with it too. So I think it's more of we do try to push that out through flyers, brochures, and other ways of information, emails and whatnot. But we also, I think, word of mouth from the students and career counselors has picked up on that too.
And I think that's important to note, that you're doing that you're not just, it's not just living in the social media space. So much of what we do for social media has to be promoted in the real live space, right? So while we're engaging in the digital space, you still have to let people know in person, and through things they can touch and they can see that are outside of their phones or their computers. Sometimes we feel like social media, that we forget forget that there's a whole other world that we exist and consume information. So that's why I always like to say your social media works best when it's integrated into an overall strategy. It shouldn't be your only strategy. And for you all, part of your strategy are flyers and word of mouth and posters and then social media as well. So it all has to work together. You can't just do one and expect it to work. It's got to be an integrated effort.
Right, exactly.
Clay, one question I wanted to ask is, you did talk about this, the teachers kind of allowing the young people to kind of engage in social media. Is there a policy that the teachers have for students? You know, phones are not really looked upon as being something that classrooms allow. Is there some type of policy or training or something that the teachers or the students are engaged in to make sure this is happening on a regular basis?
Well, what we have found out in the beginning, I think we had all schools on board as far as their policies allow them to have, for the kids to have their phones out and to take pictures and do Twitter and all that. Now, since then, I think 2 of our high schools had to change their policies about having cell phones out in class. But what we've learned is that through I guess the career counselor and the academy teacher working with the students, they have a comfort level as far as, okay, if you're going to have your phone out, it has to be you're doing something constructive with your phone to take a picture that you're going to tweet out. It's going to be about this activity for YCC or even do a video. We've had several kids that want to brag about their project that they've made, so they'll do a little short video on their project, and then they'll tweet it out as well. But we fall back onto the schools as far as what policies and procedures that they follow, and even in those schools that have some strict guidelines, there's only like 1 or 2. We've seen that those students a lot of times will ask the teacher to take a picture, but then after school hours they'll tweet it out as well. So they still try to stay engaged with it, even though if they're not allowed to at some of the schools themselves.
Okay, that sounds fair. Because it can be something I can't imagine teachers allowing students having their phones out. But, you know, I think times are changing, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Anybody have any other questions? I know Patty just said some good information. Anybody else? Okay. Angela, have you seen anything maybe I'm missing? I think we're going to get done early, but I do have a couple of announcements. So, Elizabeth, any parting words?
Just to remind people that if you need help or you have questions about any of the management portion or even the content creation, please don't hesitate to reach out. I want to be of assistance to you, and I can do some stuff very fast for you in regards to those topics that might save you some time or, you know, may prevent you from pulling your hair out in frustration, because I certainly wouldn't want that to happen. I would love for all of you to be successful with this.
That sounds like a plan. Clave, any parting words before I give a couple of announcements? Or last thoughts?
No, thank you for having me on. And if somebody does want to, I know sometimes websites can be kind of looked at as that's going to be extremely hard to do or put together. I will say that there's several different platforms out there that are very easy to work with, and once you get on there and start playing with it and try to figure out what you want to do, it's not impossible. It's not impossible to do. It's not extremely hard as you think it may be. So it's doable. You just got to have the time, the commitment to do it, but maybe a person or 2 to do it with you as well. So.
Okay, so thank you so much, Clave. Really quickly, team, we all know that you guys are working very hard on your presentations. I just have a couple of announcements before we head on off. The national conference registration is now open. You guys should have the link in your email. We have close to 40 people who are registered for this July conference. Hopefully you guys are coming to having plans there on who's going to be attending and your hotel stay. So please make sure that you register for the conference. Also, by the end of the month, the Tuesday after Memorial Day, the 31st, our student video challenge is due. We've gotten a lot of interest in that. If you have any questions about that, this is the time to put that in the question box if you have any outstanding questions about the video challenge. We're so excited to see you and the young people with that, get that video up for us. And also, we have handouts on social media part 1 on Workforce GPS. You all know about our new workforce platform, our new community of practice, and hopefully you all will access that information and then print it out from the first webinar that we had. Elizabeth, there's a question. What's your email address one more time? Can you put that in the chat feature for us, Elizabeth? I don't know if you have.
Yep, I just sent it out. It's also in the resource section with the recap from the first session as well. And I will, when I do our tip sheet for this session, I will make sure it's at the top of that as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you guys. You got 5 minutes of your life back. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you guys shortly. Take care.